Okay, we're on to another permanent solution now. This one is heat and bond, and this is basically a heat fusible applique backing with adhesive on one side and then a waxy paper on the other. And through the process of fusing it to the fabric, we're going to deposit that adhesive onto the fabric, and that in turn can be fused onto another piece of fabric. So it's great for positioning applique that you're perhaps going to hand stitch around or satin stitch around. And this particular one is called Heat and Bond Light, and this, after you've fused it with fabric, is sewable. Things like Heat and Bond Ultra Hold or things like that may not be sewable because of the amount of glue that it deposits. So you'll just need to research the appropriate weightage for your particular purpose. So just a couple of things, reminders in case you're skipping about the videos. Any stray fabrics, any stray fibers like this, make sure they're all gone, because we don't want them getting trapped under our adhesive sheet, and we don't want them to get deposited onto our cutting mat. Once you have that done, just make sure it's fully pressed. Dog ears like this, crinkles and creases, they're no good for us because they may cause air bubbles between the adhesive and the fabric, which will cause us issues when we're cutting. So make sure you've pressed it, make sure you've trimmed the edges, and then we will fuse it. Now this one you can fuse either with the fabric side down or with the fabric side up. It's up to you. I find it easiest to do it this way around, with the fabric facing right side down, and then the adhesive side, that sort of sugary rough textured side of the heat fusible backing, goes face down onto the fabric. You're then going to take your iron and set it according to your fabric. You may need to set it according to this if it's lower temperature, but if this takes a higher temperature, you're better off setting it for your fabric. Then we start at one end and carefully and slowly work our way along. Once that's done, that's almost fused. I tend to give it another go from the other side just to be 100% sure. There we go. Once that's cooled, that's ready to run through our scan and cut machine. So I'm over at the scan and cut machine, and I'm just making sure that my settings are relevant. So with thin cotton fabric, except for quilt piece, I need a setting of 4, blade of 4, and a pressure of 4. Now, because I've been working with fabric already, I know they've been set, but obviously you would set the blade depth here on your blade, and your pressure you would set on page 2 of your settings on the second line where it says cut pressure. I'm fine, so I'll just OK all my way back. I have also already loaded a circle onto screen, and now I have my Heat and Bond Light prepared piece of fabric. Now I have trimmed away the edges so that I have no raw fabric on the outside, and I am going to position this so that it's face down, so that I have the sticky from the mat and the sticky from the Heat and Bond holding this fabric in place while I cut. So I'll position that on my mat, use my brayer to make sure that it's fully stuck down. Ignore this piece, that's where I've peeled a little back to make sure it was stuck. And then I am going to send it through my machine. Now the reason that that's not bothering me is because I don't need to worry about it. It may get caught in the machine, but we will see. If all else fails, I will just take that entirely off. So what I'll do is I'll just peel that back and press it back. We're going to do a preview. we go, no problems there. I can even see the little folded piece of paper on screen. What I am going to do though is increase the contrast because I've already got this white translucent sheet over the top. That's knocking some of the contrast down for me. I'm moving I should be using my spatula, my pointer. I'm moving my circle down, but it's a little bit too big at the moment, so I'm going to, in fact I will use my pointer, I am going to drop it down in size a bit. Well, I say a bit, that's a fair bit. And there we go. So I can see it's not going to catch on this piece, and it is going to cut pretty much in the center of that. Good if you're trying to fussy cut an area of this floral design perhaps, because now you can see where that fabric is. You can even see where the logo is on screen. Okay, so we're ready to cut. We've got our blade depth, our pressure set, the fabric in position and the shape in position. We'll now send it through to cut. When that's finished, click OK, unload your mat, close up the machine, and then we will peel back and reveal the shape. So with my spatula, I'll tease up a corner of this fabric, and then I can peel back the outside of the fabric, and then lift up carefully the fabric, and there we have our beautifully cut circle, which still has the backing on, but that can then be removed, and then the fusible side is ready to be fused onto another piece of fabric.